So we heard this morning that the top line revenues in the cable industry last year were around 4.5%, but there was a slight downturn in TV subscriber numbers. Are these trends that we should expect to continue in the coming years, or was that a one-off last year?
Yes, there is a trend that our members, cable companies, are doing now more on internet and voice telephony, and the revenues are strongly growing because we have a very good access option, But it's still a very competitive market, coming with Netflix and the OTT to the market. So it's quite obvious that people are looking for a perfect access, which is a stronghold of cable, but that we have a heavy competition in the content, So obviously we like to keep them, but there is a slight decrease, I would call it. The overall revenues are fine, but there is a change in the content market, which is quite obvious.
So how much of a threat are those over-the-top providers that you mentioned, like the Netflixes and the Amazons?
To be honest, I think it's a kind of a wake-up call for our industry, because they are successful. You have to admit that, the subscriber figures are growing. Obviously, there is a kind of success model. But on the other hand, also we are reacting, and other content players are reacting, So we have some stronghold, which is customer loyalty. We have bundles, so we offer a lot of these bundles for free, So if we have value content and bundle it, it might be an option to be competitive, So we are not sitting put, and doing nothing, We are really active, and therefore sometimes it's quite good that you get a wake-up call from other players.
So, and how do cable providers differentiate themselves in this kind of fragmented landscape? Is it about providing those bundles or a good customer experience?
Absolutely. I think if our platform is attractive, if it's everything happens seamless, if the bundle price is fine, a lot of customers will stay, and there are especially customers who are a little bit price sensitive, They will say, okay, what we get in our cable package, in a triple play or in a quadruple play is just enough for our needs, Others who are really heavy users of video, might do something else, So it's right, the market is different, we are different groups of customers, and we have to face that, but we also take our chances.
Okay, and fixed and mobile convergence is something we've read a lot about in the last year. There's been a few high-profile examples. Do you expect that as a trend to continue in the coming years?
Absolutely. I think in the end everything is about connectivity, and the customer don't care how this connectivity is realized. Even I would guess that 90% of the customers, they even don't know about the technology which their devices are connected to the internet. They just want to have a high-quality connection, seamless, whatever platform we can. So they are switching. If you're switching seamless from Wi-Fi to mobile to cable, that will be the future, and we have to realize that. And therefore we are very technology orientated. We work together with Cable Labs on future solution. So I think this is some advantage we might have, because a cable platform as a backhaul is one of the best platforms we can offer in Europe.
And do you think the regulatory framework that's in place is well equipped to deal with this sort of convergence across sectors like mobile and fixed?
Yeah, I think there might be some adjustments, but hopefully in the right direction. Because now I think the framework already is quite flexible, If the market is changing, also the market analysis is changing, And now, and the European Commission recognized that, and also the national regulators, we see a lot of other players in the market, OTT players, if it's Skype, if it's WhatsApp, if it's Netflix, they are realizing their business models without any barrier of entry, And the old regulatory system was always, is there a high barrier of entry in a market? And obviously it's proven that the barrier of entry for other players is not high, but very low, So this has to be reflected, either by different results in the regular market analysis or in changing a little bit of the framework. But I think there would not be a complete revolution in the system we have in place in Europe.
Okay, and another big topic of conversation is net neutrality. And how do you think the legislation in Europe might differ from recent regulation in the US as regards to net neutrality?
We don't know yet the outcome. You know, there is still a pending decision between, or pending discussion between the European Commission, the European Council, the Member States and the European Parliament. It will just start now in March, and I think that the Council has a quite sensible and rational position, and also the Commission. You know, the starting point for the Commission is we need innovation in the market. We need new kind of services which should not be blocked by regulation or by a over-prescriptive framework, you know. And that's a solution, if it will go through, which is much more sensible and much more rational than what has been done by the FCC in the US, you know. So this time Europe could be better off. But we will know it in the end, you know. So there is still a fight, and to be honest, there are some forces in the Parliament which are quite challenging. But the Member States and the Commission has to convince them to make an agreement on their platform. We are quite working on it. We are looking to argue on that, and we are optimistic. But you always know these things in the end.
Okay. And finally, what do you think that will be the single biggest thing to impact the cable industry this year? What topic will be, you know, the biggest thing to influence the cable industry?
Oh, difficult to say. You know, we talked about a lot of different conflicting trends, but I think the cable industry is quite customer-centric, you know, and so if we are focused on the customer needs, you know, of our existing customers and of potential new customers, what they really want, you know, then this is the key focus point, because markets are changing so quickly, you know. We have seen ups and downs of some players, you know, in some years, you know. So cable industry had been quite substantial, stable. We are challenged by other players, but I think if we look on our customer needs, I think that's a key issue for the future.